Hey folks, everything new under the sun. An update on Israel. Um, I'm gonna say it straight out there. I'll put it out there that this is a very significant thing that's happening, prophetically speaking, on the eschatological timeline. There are wars and rumors of wars, and after that come the significant biblical wars related to directly to Israel, the land of Israel, the Levant, and battles where Israel attacks Syria, battles where enemies from the north attack Israel. And what is happening right now could very well lead to it. And so that includes Isaiah 17. That's one of the scriptures which deals with the destruction of Damascus. On the left-hand side of the timeline of the return of the Lord there, I think these prophetic events happened just prior to the Antichrist appearing on the stage and prior to the 7-year period. So that's why I have all those red arrows grouped up there. The second bit is Ezekiel 38 and 39, the War of Gog Magog. I believe there's a dual fulfillment. One of them is prior to the 7-year period, and they set the world into such a state of war and chaos that people will be pleading for a savior, for a leader to come and help them. They won't recognize Jesus Christ as savior, of course, similar to what the Jews did. They want an earthly, a human leader, and so they will get this Antichrist figure ultimately. But these things, what's happening in Gaza, in Israel right now, could escalate quickly, and is one of the wars that has, of late, that has really made me start thinking that, this could very well be the escalation point that leads us to those biblical wars. All right, let's get into what's happening in Israel, and it is huge. I gotta say. This is ZeroHedge.com. Let me just squeeze that down there. Couple updates here. So the number of Israeli hostages held by Hamas, so the Gaza militants, has been revised upward to an estimated 150. So that's hostages. There are 900 Israelis dead, they're reporting. 2,400 wounded since the Saturday surprise. Now, this is curious that the Mossad Israeli intelligence didn't know about this, and so the speculation has been, well, maybe they knew about it, but they were using it to their advantage so that they could do a full-scale war. I don't know why else Mossad intelligence services wouldn't have known this was coming. But the problem is, if you know it's coming and you preemptively attack, then the rest of the world, especially Arab people, say, well, you're initiating this fight. You started this fight by, preempting an attack. Now, of course, the world isn't going to say preempting the attack, but the world's going to think that Israel triggered it. So Israel almost has to let there be an intelligence failure, quote unquote, to let the world know that yes, this is real and that Israel is not instigating this. They are only defending themselves. So some speculation there. But I would have to say that the intelligence services would have known about this, especially since the speculation is that Iran was part of the organization here. Israel has all the communications. They have all the intelligence on the ground, across the airways, etc. They know what's going on. So that's a curious thing. In one single kibbutz near the border, 108 bodies were discovered, and this is ongoing. Large teams cleared bodies all day. Now, if this happened in the United States, in Canada, it would be a declaration of war. So this is not surprising to anybody who really kind of brings it home and says, what would I do? What would my countrymen do? What would my leaders say, my prime minister, my president, whatever it be? What would they do? There's videos on X about the attacks that happened early this morning. I don't know if this shows it or not. Let's see. Yeah, so these are armed Hamas terrorists on motorcycles. You can see weapons there on the right hand side, and they're looking to go and take some hostages there. Incredible. And this is the kibbutz, a picture of the kibbutz. They burned out a car. So, New York Times also has begun to piece together eyewitness accounts from Saturday. So the people involved in this include or hostages includes civilians, soldiers, people with disabilities, children, grandparents, and a 9-month-old baby. And this is just what we know about. So this is disgusting. It is a crime against humanity. It is evil. And any country would go to full-scale war if this happened. You bet all options would be on the table if this happened to anywhere else. So all the mainstream media saying, Israel shouldn't retaliate or should be proportionate in its response. No, this is unacceptable. This was unprovoked, and it's crazy. The capture of so many Israelis by Palestinian militants has taken the Israeli-Palestine conflict into uncharted territory. The capture and the killing of so many just out in the open. It's insane. Not only in sheer number of hostages, but also dire threats Hamas is making against them. Basically, kill them. And Israel and the IDF are looking to go and, hopefully do some raids and save these hostages. But there's going to be a lot more people die. So Israel is just, bombing everything. They've cut off electricity, food, etc. there. We will do to our enemies in the coming days what we will do will reverberate with them for generations. The idea is make them think twice, and hopefully their family members will say, don't do this, don't be a terrorist, because it's going to harm us. But of course, what are all the mainstream media outlets saying? They're complaining that Israel is harming all the civilians. But you know what? Sometimes you have to get at their families in a way before the terrorists themselves will stop doing this. The problem with the Palestinians is that they're taught from a young age to hate Israelis. In fact, to go do away, I don't want to say the words, but to do away with Israelis. That's what they're taught. So it's really all they know, because they're indoctrinated to believe that Israelis are evil. There have been U.S. citizens who have been killed, apparently 11 of them. The U.S. has issued a stern warning for Lebanese Shia paramilitary group not to enter the conflict. Biden said Monday that at least 11 Americans were confirmed killed. This draws the U.S. into it. This is big, folks. This means this is not just an Israeli fight now. This is an American fight. Biden's going to have to do something about it, and he has said there are warships on the way now. While we are still working to confirm, we believe it is likely that American citizens may be among those being held. So 11 were killed, and though there are American citizens being held, so will there be special ops teams in Gaza doing something? Another one from X, Hezbollah targeted the command center of Israel's Galilee division, based at Branit military barracks, with 5 guided missiles in response to the martyrdom. You can see the missile zooming across there in the sky on the northern front. So pretty significant. Let's see. Israel has seized control of communities around Gaza that were at the center of the horrific attacks. Israel's Ministry of Defense has ordered complete siege of Gaza, cutting off electricity, food, fuel, and water. They have to slow the terrorists down, and the easiest way to do that is to cut off everything. It's going to harm some civilians, some people that didn't go in there, but were they, helping out? Were they encouraging this invasion and the killing of innocent people? This is war. You have to do this. So, you don't want civilians or innocent folks harmed at any time. But many, those Israelis and 11 Americans that we know of now were killed. And so you got to answer for that. U.S. is sending USS Ford, a carrier strike group, to the eastern Mediterranean. That's on its way and getting very, very close to the Black Sea as well. I think Canadian Prepper made that comment. Hezbollah, out of Lebanon, is now threatening to get into the fight. This would open up another front, and there have been bombings in Lebanon, strikes in Lebanon already. Hezbollah exchanged artillery and rocket fire Sunday with Israeli forces, raising concerns of an escalation. The Lebanese foreign minister said his government has been assured by Hezbollah that it will not join unless Israel harasses Lebanon. So they're already fighting. That's already happening. While unconfirmed by U.S. intelligence and denied by Iran, it says Iranian security officials reportedly helped plan Hamas's attack and gave the green light. This means that now Iran is in the crosshairs. They are, a legal combatant, if you will, for planning this. So expect strikes inside, covert or otherwise, inside Iran, military bases, whatever it may be, and in Damascus, the airport there, because they transfer a lot of weapons back and forth there. And what is Russia saying about this? Well, Russia says the solution is a Palestinian state, to divide the land of Israel. That's not the solution. God is going to come down hard at them for dividing the land of Israel. That's why Israel isn't prospering, as much as they probably could, because they divided the land, the Levant. And so God doesn't like that. Bad things happen when they divide this. And so this is Russia. Why is it important what Russia's saying? Well, because Gog and Magog in Ezekiel 38 and 39 speaks of a war where a country from the north with allied nations invades Israel, takes a spoil, takes money, takes cattle, takes goods, and all of it seemingly at a time of economic collapse, because they're taking money, they're taking food, all these things which they, Russia has a lot of themselves already. They don't necessarily need that. So it kind of describes a time when the world is in collapse, in chaos. And so interesting that, Russia's coming out effectively not on Israel's side, but saying, you know what, it's your fault, Israel, because you didn't create a Palestinian state. So the whole world is blaming Israel. And what does the Bible say that's going to happen in the last times? It says that the whole world hates Israel and comes against Israel and circles Israel to come together for battle. So this is the pretty significant stuff happening. You can go to Zero Hedge and read the article. There's a lot of videos about various things. This is Israel taking out a Hezbollah watchtower in Lebanon. So is Israel harassing Lebanon? Well, apparently so. There it is. Looks like a missile strike there. Yeah, there it is. Wow, that's pretty loud. So yeah, is Israel harassing Lebanon? Are they going to join the fight? Seems like Russia could do some stuff from Syria as well, as they got military equipment there. So there's a lot of people dead now. There's Americans in the fight. This is going to draw U.S. into it. Possibly other nations. Are there any Canadians? Are there anybody else there, tourists or otherwise, that we're going to find out about ultimately, that are going to draw us into some sort of battle? Folks, this is the perfect setup for Isaiah 17, kind of the last straw, the straw that broke the camel's back, where Israel says, that's enough. And Netanyahu has effectively come out and said, that's enough. We are at war. This is it. We're not dealing with this anymore. And that means they could go all out and take out Gaza, take out Hezbollah from Lebanon, and then take out Damascus, which is a constant source of weapons flowing to Gaza, flowing to terrorists, Hezbollah, etc., from Iran, who is supporting this all the way. So watch for an Iranian strike of some sort, Israeli against Iran, a cyber attack, whatever it may be. And by the way, apparently Russian hackers were hacking Israel. Was it earlier today or yesterday? So that's pretty interesting that Russia seems to be colluding, cooperating in this attack. Whether this hacker group is related or not, or what their reasons are, I don't know. But that happened at the same time. So Israel is quite literally fighting war on many fronts, cyber and conventional, against many, many nations. What does the Bible say is happening in the last days? All the nations will surround Israel. There will be no nation that is on Israel's side in the last days. Now you say, well, the United States is always going to be on Israel's side. It could very well be that U.S. is taken out as a significant nation in biblical end times and eschatology, because you don't hear North America, United States of America, you don't hear Canada in the biblical references to countries. You hear Tarshish and these sorts of countries in Ezekiel 38 and 39. But what are they doing? They're just asking questions, almost as if they're asking at the United Nations, saying, Russia, what are you doing in Israel? Why are you attacking Israel? But they're not actually doing anything about it. They're not acting on that and moving warships. And it could be because Western nations have been effectively taken out. There may be a few people, there may be a remnant, there may be some civilization after, but it looks as though they were taken off the map for all intents and purposes and have no power to do anything other than saying some words against them. So we're in the last days, guys. This is incredible. It came out of nowhere. It was a surprise to Israel, apparently, although I'd suggest to you that their intelligence knew that this was happening. But there could be a few different reasons why they wouldn't let it out, i.e. to let the world know exactly the intentions of Hezbollah and the terrorists and Hamas, and then to be able to have the license really to act on it as well. Because if they always preempt, then the whole world says, well, you preempted what? We didn't know anything was coming. Nothing happened. So Israel has to almost let this happen in some form or fashion to give them really license on the world stage to do something about it. So that's what I think is happening right here. Buckle up, folks. Get gas. Gas is going to skyrocket, over the next couple of days, I'm sure, especially if Israel gets closer to doing something in Iran. This is a time to get your preps ready. Are you ready for economic collapse, World War III, whatever that looks like? It's going to be hard times and for all of us, and I think we underestimate what that will mean for us. It's going to be Mad Max in many locations, especially in cities, folks. And so if you don't know Jesus Christ, now is a good time to get to know him. Now is a good time to ask forgiveness for your sin. We are all sinners, and we're saved through grace, not by works of righteousness. So you can't work your way to heaven. And we will all die, whether we die in World War III or we die, in 30 or 40 or 50 years when we're 100 years old. And you need to know where you're going. Are you going to heaven? Or are you going to hell? The wages of sin is death. And death, if you die and you haven't repented of your sin, you're going to live apart from God, apart from Jesus. And that is really the simple definition of what hell is. Living apart from God. God is love. God is peace. God is joy. God is kindness and caring. God is light. So if you take all those away, if you're apart from God in eternity, that is the definition of hell. It will be unspeakable. So you need to find Jesus Christ tonight. And you do that by recognizing that Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sin and your sin, and he's coming back soon. He's going to judge the world, and you need to get your heart right with him. Thanks for watching. I'll leave it there. We'll see you in the next video.